Greetings, this is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Today's talk is what I'll call Model 3 homework, but it can apply to Model X and Model S as well. Bonjour, wie geht's? Wie steht's noch im Ostbeibeinen? This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. And my talk today focuses on the fact that, the biggest shortcoming that many potential owners have talked about is the fact that the Model 3 doesn't have a screen directly in front of you where you can find out what your speed is, as well as sort of basic information like how fast you're going, for example, without having to look up on the main screen. And after doing some reading, I realized that even if you don't have the delivery of your vehicle right now, you can actually download the Tesla app from the Apple Store or Android Play Store and find out sort of what features you can expose yourself to via the app. Because from what I can tell, even if you're not fully getting access to the speed information for your vehicle, you can actually put that information on a phone or an iPad as a separate device and put it Velcro it directly in front of you, so you don't have to worry about looking at the screen for that information. From what I read, you can also do other things like control heat and air conditioning, as well as a variety of other information. I would think summoning the vehicle to you or parking auto or things that might be interesting as well. But I was principally focused on the fact that there are a lot of people worried about being able to see how fast the car is going without having to scroll through screens on the main screen for the vehicle. I also wanted to note that because of the app-driven nature of this applies to both the Model X and the Model S as well. But it's not as big a deal because you already have those gauges sitting in front of you for those other two cars. Another sort of Model 3 unknown that I think will be interesting to see how it plays out is the fact that because most vehicles have information like speed, engine performance, etc., shielded so that it's not affected by the sun. Another sort of what's going to happen with the Model 3 that's interesting to inquire about is how do you see a screen when you have light coming in during sunny days from all the windows. I think there's a high potential for that screen to be bleached out by the sun, and we'll learn more now that regular consumers will be getting their vehicles on how this is going to work out. I call this Model 3 homework because sort of taking time to understand some of the issues that people are having and how they might be addressed ahead of time might enable you to sort of improve your Model 3 experience and prepare for it, because you might want to pick up aftermarket items and have them installed early is one potential activity that's out there. I think it's great that Model 3 is finally here. I'm also wondering how the new 2170 battery is going to perform, because it is going to be the underpinning of the future of the car, and no one has seen it in action yet to determine whether or not it might introduce problems that were unexpected, and therefore customers have sort of repair issues that they have to wrestle when that comes up. Because Panasonic's the partner and they were part of deciding how this thing was built, I think we're good, and they've been sort of rolling it in many cities, or a few cities. I think we're good. The other note to make on the Model 3 is that I find it interesting that Elon Musk is deciding to deliver 30 vehicles to customers, even though that's a pretty low number. It feels to me like it's still in a beta test situation, and I believe that it's a it's an interesting circumstance because this is an important vehicle. It's an important vehicle that needs to arrive and be successful. And I can see that Elon Musk is focused on a great outcome. So, anyway, I think it's great that the Model 3 is here. I do think there's homework that can be done in preparation for it in the form of the app and sort of playing around with what options are there. In my mind, based on the number of people that talked about the lack of a screen in front of the driver to cover speed, I think the fact that that information can be acquired and placed on an iPad or a small tablet device allows people to sort of install that themselves and cut out the headache that's perceived to be there relative to that. So I think that's very, very cool. The final note I wanted to make here is that, frankly, I'm really impressed that this thing arrived on time. There's some lurking issues in my mind regarding, what's going on with the battery supplies coming out of the Gigafactory, because Tesla has made a lot of commitments in terms of energy storage solutions for large cities as well as for companies, etc. And those battery packs are consuming power that should rightly go directly to the model. There's a lot of power that's being consumed, or battery capacity that's being consumed, that rightly should be going to production of the Model 3. There's one other issue that's popped up, that's sort of tangential, but lurks with the Model 3, and that is what's going on with the batteries relative to trucks. There's an interesting issue right now, which is there have been some Tesla/Mercedes truck solutions that were based on the 81650 battery. The question that lurks about trucks is the fact that there's a new battery and it's better than the old battery. What's going to happen with transition from new to old? It's going to be in those trucks that will be more efficient. The old battery, i.e. the 81650, works fine relative to light-duty trucks currently with range, etc. But obviously the new battery would work better. And given the Gigafactory is just ramping up production, and there are a lot of Model 3 owners waiting for their vehicle, there's some real question marks about how batteries are going to be allocated. A final sidebar note is the fact that Tesla's stock price is down currently at first week of July, driven by them coming in 3,000 units of light on sales of Model S. As I shared in another video, my take on the Model S is that, it's a great vehicle. I think the body is getting a little bit long on the tooth, but the biggest challenge is that you have a number of people that might have purchased the S, but they're within range of 6 months, 8 months away from getting a Model 3. So why pay 3 times as much for that vehicle? So I think that the cannibalization process that happens with new products has now started to bite Tesla and affect the stock price. But I don't see any sort of decline in the Tesla metrics performance based on what they've said they were going to do. They're doing it. It's just that they have the unfortunate circumstance of cannibalizing their own sales. Another sort of aspect of this whole thing I just thought was really amazing, and it may warrant an entire new video, is the fact that Tesla has a circumstance here where they've chosen not to move the X and S onto the 2170 platform. I was surprised by this because you have your premier vehicles not getting your best battery, and I am blown away because they're kind of telling the marketplace that unlike what most car companies do, which is give their premier product their premier sort of batteries right away, they're saying that 5-year-old Tesla technology is actually superior to what anybody else is putting out. So we're not worried about losing market share with the S and X because you guys don't have anything that competes with that now, even though it's 5 years old. So I just thought that was pretty amazing. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. I think it's a worthwhile homework project to download and play with the Tesla app because I think it'll allow you to sort of prep for vehicle ownership. Thank you for taking time out to watch. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Please like and subscribe. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, à tout à l'heure.